I'm not even close. The mic is right here. Hello, fellow humans. This is I, she who shall not be named. One of the worst intro givers in the entire world, and one who frankly doesn't know what to say on record. That's why she doesn't make YouTube videos. But I'm honestly tired of talking to myself, so why not use some of the high-profile brain capacity and spill it out to people who probably don't even care, or know, or anything really. And in this video, I'm pretty much gonna be just me. There's a lot of things about me that are unknown from where they come from. I'm also a really bad stutterer. I have been planning to get a diagnosis for autism, and that's not really going so well. This is probably gonna be one of the most stupidest videos ever. I'm gonna start sounding like a retard a lot because I don't really know what to say. What a fuck up of a video already. I have so much shit to say, yet I can't even introduce myself. I don't know, probably the anxiety. I have generalized anxiety, as told by a doctor I don't really trust the judgment of, but I'm pretty sure I have it. This is stupid. And yes, I'm sitting in a bathtub. I am definitely sitting in a bathtub. Why? I don't know. Do I care what people think about it? No. Can't judge people. You cannot judge me for sitting in this here bathtub. Because why can't I sit in my bathtub? I guess I'm just really disappointed in the human race lately. Even myself. Even though I'm pretty sure I'm part of the population who really doesn't deserve to be judged and criticized. Hell, I can't even introduce myself on an audio recording to the people that I don't even know who they are. Should I care? Probably not. Do I? Yeah, it does get to me. People are hateful. And even if they don't mean to, you can trash your life. Even normal people who really just aim to make your life better or help out in any sort of way, they really just don't. You know why? Because they aren't you. People who are quick to judge don't have the right to judge. Because, well, yeah, I have no place to judge if you're not in that person's shoes. And even if you think you may know, like, kind of what they're going through, blah, blah, this, you sound just like me. No. Every single human being, inside and outside, is 100% unique in their own little tiny ass ways. And it could be thousands of just even small differences, but the point is, all those differences add up. Every single person is completely different from one another. It's crazy to think about. Because even like someone like your family members, they share a lot of your genetics and whatnots, but they're still so different than you. So really, if you do not know who I am and you're just a complete stranger, where do you think you have room to judge? Tonight, I cried. I do that every night. But no, tonight I cried because I'm just looking at people and I'm like, they're always judging over what actions they think people are doing are like so wrong and all that stuff. And I'm like, you don't really know why they act the way they do, or why they think the way they do, or why they feel the way they do. You don't know at all. They were all brought up in a different way by different people with their own cosmetic freaking spectrum of different fucking problems. I'm always flabbergasted by what the human is capable of. Because I look at myself and I consider myself to be a really pained person. Because I look at everybody and I'm just like, why is everybody so hateful? Why is everybody so quick to criticize and hate and just judge and assume? And then they try to tell you what to do with your life. Like, I appreciate your assistance, but my special case makes it to the point where that's not exactly going to help. This is probably going to feel targeted to the people who do watch this that I know. But it's really not. It goes out to everybody. And I forgot what I was going to say before all that shit. Don't know. Don't know at all. We all got our different problems. Physical and mental. Some physical problems can cause you to have mental. Some mental problems can cause you to have physical. The human is pained just for being conscious of his existence. His or her existence. It's always a pain in the ass knowing that you exist and that you can think and that you have the ability to question and partake in the sins that God does not want us to do. But He built us to do this. I feel like we're kind of all like a little project or experiment in a way. To see if a human built to do something wrong can actually go out and fight against what they were originally equipped with. For some odd reason, we were equipped with it. And yes, I'm religious. I am a Christian. But I tend to try to mix what we know in logic and religiousness. Put it all together in like a big old bowl and think, so this is how the world was made. I tend to look at the Bible and be like, no, that doesn't sound right. But then I tend to look at the universe and be like, well, that doesn't sound right. And I'm just like thinking up of all my own different ideas that sound stupid and retarded. I'm not even gonna discuss. This video is already 7 minutes long. I did not know that. I did not know that. Humans, we discussed me. And I'm pretty sure we discussed a lot of the people who are just self-aware of how horrible this world truly is. And probably this is depression talking. There are good things about this world. But I don't understand why they're so overshadowed. Actually, I do. They're so overshadowed by everybody being so cruel to one another. And us having our own array of fucking mental illnesses and disorders and our physical problems that make us paralyzed or whatnot and debilitated, can't do shit because you're fucked up. I'm sitting in this here bathtub because it's like 2 a.m. and I don't want to go to sleep tonight. My fiance said, you know they're just dreams, right? They're not real. And I'm like, if they're just dreams, then they're highly coincidental because they are always representing something that I'm either afraid of or a big old problem in life that I know I need to change. If you're wondering what I'm doing, it's not me hesitating, it's really just me thinking. My brain's too big, and at the same time it don't work right, and I'm like, that's stupid as hell. Why have such a low... It's like my brain is too big, but it's not got much space in it. But I don't care who the hell you are. You have no right to judge someone who can't help themselves for who they are. You don't have to like them, but you do not hate your neighbor. You do not hate people. You don't judge and criticize them. All you gotta do is assert yourself. If they really all got all these problems and they really want to change, all you can really do is tell them that they need that and go on about your own life, leave them be. You can't change a person for who they are. You can't change someone who has a lifelong disorder. I guess the reason why I started thinking about this was also because earlier I was looking up stuff and information about people with NPD. If you don't know what that is, it's narcissistic personality disorder. I'm just looking at so many people and I'm like, I see a lot of people hurt by a relationship with these people and individuals. And oh, they don't have any good things to say about them. Oh, they don't have any good things to say about them. Some even describe them as just pure evil. And I get where you're coming from. I get why you can see that. But all I can tell you is get out of those relationships. Go find peace within yourself. But don't hurt that other person just because they are the way they are. Because people with disorders, they didn't ask to be like that. They were either born like that, it's genetic, or they were raised to be wired that way. And it's not their fault. And all kids are innocent. All children are innocent, unless you're that one type of psychopath child who's just, showing red flag signs of being a serial killer in the future. But you can help them too. Because honestly, they have a problem with their brains too that make them the way they are. But at the same time, they're so conscious of their evil actions. How could you tell one is actually evil and if one is just totally obliterated by the development they had to endure throughout their life, including before birth? Or their genetics. It just really makes no sense. Life is confusing. Really confusing. And as I'm sitting here just thinking about, well, what the hell do we do to make it better? We be good people. The people who maybe don't have a problem with life. I mean, everybody has their own individual problem with life, I'm not gonna lie. And that spawns up another question, because I look at myself and I'm all loving of people. I have the empathy of a saint. And yet, I find myself not being perfect either. It's not like I'm super delusional. I know I'm not perfect. In fact, I'm really hyper aware of that. It makes me upset because that's not who I want to be and that's not who I am. So why does the human body and the human nature automatically tell us to fight back at whatever's hurting us? Even when we know they're going through something they can't help. Do we just run away? Where do we go if we have nobody else to go to? It's a really sad, upsetting thing if you think about it. And I also heard tonight that it's not the fact that people who are depressed are brain fogged, or whatever you want to call it. People who are depressed are actually seeing the world for what it really is. And they're not able to look at it in a good way. Excuse me 1 second. I'm gonna need to put you guys on pause for a second. Hold on. Retarded looking. Stop that. And yes, I know it's recording. I'm dumb. No. Notice how, I don't always like to talk. I'm a really quiet person. No, at the beginning of this video, it was more like, but the more I started talking about my comfy place, well, it's not really a comfy place, it's actually a really dark place. The more I spell out my brain, that feel like the more comfort I get. Which is often why I talk to myself, because you don't get that comfort from many people. Especially if you're surrounded with the people, that have opinions. Opposite opinions. And when they're opposite and people are quick to spread their opinions and make our opinions, their opinions ours, it's not that easy to talk to those people, or anybody like that. I find it really comforting talking to myself. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I don't know who I am. You'll never know who I am. Pause. I am a female who just passed flatulence. I can't believe I just said that. But I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna leave it in. You know why? 'Cause you're not allowed to judge. I am a human with natural body functions. If I feel the need to fart, I am going to do that. Excuse me if you heard it, but after that, leave me alone. I burped. Excuse me, now leave me alone. Just because I'm a female, you have no right to judge. That goes with anything I do. I was born to fart. I was born to go to the bathroom. I was born to cry. And so aren't men. There's this really bad stigma that men shouldn't cry. Or at least from what my fiance knows, he's been hardwired to think that men aren't allowed to cry. Which is horrible, honestly. Because they're humans too. I'm not saying I enjoy it when men cry. No, not by any means, not in a bad way, but I enjoy seeing that men can sometimes get over their tough nature and actually show how human they are. Yeah, I hate that sound. I do not like the S sound. Women who have really pronounced S's, makes my mouth dry. Don't know why. Hate it. Talking exhausts me. Talking really exhausts me. But I feel like the words I have to say are what people really need to hear. Even though I say these same words to the people in my life and it doesn't go through. So I hope it goes through somebody's mind and they say, oh, that's understandable. I don't mean to offend anybody. I don't want to offend anybody. That's the opposite of what I want to do, but they get offended anyway. I can't tell you how many arguments I've gotten through on Facebook and on YouTube and on, well, those are the only two social media sites I actually go on. And I vape. Don't like it. Move on. I don't actually want to vape. I'm addicted to nicotine because of stress in my life, and I can't feel like I can get through things without it, even though it just makes my health worse. And you know what? That's okay. I deal with the consequences. We all deal with the consequences ourselves. You do not have to judge us for it. When it happens to our own body, leave us alone. But if you're hurting other people, then you can't expect other people to be quiet about you hurting them. It's stupid to think that you're not going to get any judgment for that. Somebody's outside, and I hope they don't come in here. It is literally 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody should be awake. We have cats. This video is already getting too long. I'm a mom of 2. I'm 20 years old. I didn't know I had all the problems I do today back then when I first had my first child, who is age 4. 16 years old. I wasn't raised strictly. I was raised sheltered. And not just sheltered. I didn't have proper discipline in my life, or responsibilities set in place, or learning events in the household. I learned a lot of my stuff from talking to people on the outside, looking things up on the internet, watching YouTube, reading forums, reading research studies, and just talking to people, real people. Who knows if all of them are telling the truth, but you know how I know people are telling the truth? If it's common. If I have had so much time to know if every little piece of information I know is common knowledge, or a common occurrence. And once you find the commonality, you know that's true. And if you don't fit in with that little set of facts, I don't even know if anybody knows gonna know what the fuck I'm talking about. I need to hurry it up. I'm not tired, but if the video gets too long, nobody's really gonna care, because we all watch shorts nowadays. Shorts on YouTube, shorts on TikTok. The people who are really looking for the deep knowledge and the deep discussions, so who really want to know stuff, usually those are the people who watch these videos. And I thank you all. Even if you are here to judge, please don't. I can't stop you from. All I can ask in the kindness of your heart, if you have any, to please don't judge. I cut off from what I was saying earlier. I'm a mom of 2. I am 20 years old. My eldest is 4, my youngest is 3 months. I still live with my parents. Because I am going through a very quick, hard process in life where I have to quickly transfer into an adult. And it's upsetting, because shouldn't I have done that when I was 4? That's the part where people get really judgy. All I knew I had before I had my first was that I had ADHD, and that's not even true. I don't show signs of ADHD. I'm not hyperactive. I'm just crazy and weird. By crazy, I don't mean hyper. I can't switch from one thing to another. It practically gives me mental whiplash. I hate noises. Noises anger and terrify me in some cases. Because I hurt? No. Because I just can't handle them, and I don't know why. I have these crazy outlash outbursts that honestly further my depression, because it makes me feel like I'm a horrible human that scares people when I do that, and I don't like it, because I'm a good person. At least I want to be. I'm pretty sure most of us want to be a good person, at least deep down. If you don't, you're not a good person. Why are you not a good person? I don't know. But you really ought to get help for it. Because your life is just not going to be as good as you think it is. If you're allowing yourself to get away with that, it's going to come to an end soon. You can't just keep hurting people on purpose and get away with it. Without consequences, there's consequences for everything. And you might be able to rope people in with that bullshit, and they're going to continue to keep falling for it, but it's not going to last very long. The pain is going to drive them to leave you in the dust. And then you're going to realize, you better just not mess with anybody, because you're messing with the wrong people. Some of them you're messing with the wrong people. Others, they just go off and they don't care anymore. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people in this world that don't know what the fuck is wrong with them, and they want to know. Like me, for instance. I'm pretty sure I have Asperger's or autism. I don't like to label it as levels. But I hardly feel high functioning. I can talk really good, only about things I care about. I can mask really well. And people say, you're doing really good. And I'm like, no, I'm really not. Not on the inside. I might look fine on the outside, but inside I'm internally screaming all the time. It's just because of people's judgment. People with narcissistic disorder, everybody thinks they're evil. Well, what made them like that? Their upbringing and the way they are and the way their brains are shaped. Quite literally, look it up. People with autism, people with BPD, people with all these mental disorders, look it up. Their brains are structurally different than normal people's. Some more than others. And you can't be scared. I heard people often judge because they're just not used to and not understanding, and they just don't want to accept things they don't understand. A lot of people don't. They don't like it. They don't like mystery. They like knowing. We are sponges. We are creatures of knowledge and knowing. We are creatures of questioning, and we are creatures of high-profile consciousness of our existence. I think, therefore I am. Don't know where that quote came from. I forgot. Am I even allowed to do that? I don't know. Is it copyright? I don't know. YouTube will tell me. That's another thing that I don't want to even get into too much. The quiet ones are always the people who have an entire universal library of things that go on in their head. And when they finally able to speak it out, it comes out and because it's just so much coming out all at once. And then people who just talk and yell and are always talking. There's really nothing in their brains. And yes, I got that off from a picture I saw. But it's true. They really can't think logically, and the only logic they know is from what they think they know, and which they don't. Like I said in the beginning, you really have no room to judge unless you're in that person's shoes. You lived their life. There is no way anybody can know exactly what any individual is going through, no matter how similar you are. You cannot 100% predict it. Therefore, you cannot 100%. Well, people can be empathetic. But even if you're empathetic, you still won't be able to know. And I would know because I'm empathetic, yet everybody confuses the absolute freak out of me. And I'm tired. It's like, a lot of people, I just don't get why people are so hateful. I don't know. I guess it's just what they were built to do. I guess that's just how they were built in their heads and all that stuff, just like everybody else. But it just makes the lives of the human existence that much harder. People hating people for being LGBTQ or their certain religion or what mental disorders they have or what physical disorders they have that visibly manifests in crazy ways. Like Down syndrome. People, like, yeah, you can look at them and it'd be like, oh, that's out of normality a little bit from what I see, but that doesn't mean you have the right to judge or make fun. Naturally, anything we see that we're not used to or a little, like, freaked out by, even just to the 1%. Like, what, you see a solar eclipse? You don't see that every day. Whoa! That's crazy. You might not see a person that is so drastically different than you every day, and that might freak you out, but you still have no right to judge. And if you feel that need, just keep it to yourself. Keep all that hate and judgment and criticizing to yourself. Unless you know for sure, you know exactly what they're going through, or you know for sure that they have no right to do that. Well, some people have no right to do anything. But in certain cases, you gotta know when not to intrude. Because you could just be making their whole life worse and worse. You could be making their situation worse. It's not gonna stop them from doing what they're doing. It's not. So why try? And then the vegans. Don't get me started on the vegans. Don't get me started on vegans. They think all meat eaters are the same. And we're not all meat eaters. I'm an omnivore. I'm not judging meat eaters. I'm not judging vegans. I don't like how the vegans think all meat eaters are the same. Anybody who eats meat, omnivores and carnivores. And I also don't like how pure meat eaters who don't like vegetables at all have to rope in the vegans to make them say more of what they think we're trying to say to them. I'm gonna have to start wrapping this up. I probably would never do this often. I don't have the willpower to be able to send that message to people. But if I could send this exact message to somebody else who can do it and is willing to say every point I have with the same emotion and even make it better and more logical that people can understand in a way, to any party, to any person with a different headspace or mindset or the way they think. Now, I wish that would happen. This world needs to stop being so hateful. And I know it won't. And this big word's coming from such a insignificant human that nobody knows. I don't care that nobody knows me. I don't want to be known. I just want my message to go out to other people, whether it comes from my mouth or not. And I know that probably won't happen either, but it's good to be hopeful. If you are alive, then there is still some sort of faith left in you. Because if there wasn't, you would have already been dead. And yes, one eye is bigger than the other. Not really. I don't know. I guess I'm just tired. Don't know where I went with this. Don't know why I did it. I know why I did it, but I don't know. Love one another. Love yourself, even if you're horrible. You are still valuable to the human life. And you can always change for the better. No matter who you are. But don't let other people bring you down. And to you, other people, stop building a wall for other people that prevents them from getting the help they need by spreading your hate and criticism and judgments onto them. Because they're not going to get any better like that. On that note, here's a farewell. Well, that sounds like a bad thing to say, so I'm just going to say bye.